the rest of your mutas. Make sure that they can do something else. There we go. Finally start working away on those rocks. And you should be joining up your mutas. 2 small groups of mutas, not that useful. 1 big group of mutas, much more useful. These turrets have pretty good coverage. You probably don't want to go in here with just these mutas. Oh, well, kind of blind spot. That's pretty good. But you're going to lose a lot more mutas than you really need to. You did deny this expansion, though. Very nice. Oh, that's unfortunate. So, this isn't really a big thing. I mean, this is going to be annoying if you do this in a real battle, but here, you're just taking down rocks. It's not going to matter too much. Your expansion is going to be up a little bit later, but that's not too bad a thing. Wow, heavy racks off of 1 base. By the way, those overseers, a decent idea. Not really completely necessary, but they did work out pretty well. You also got up that baneling nest. Always a good idea against this Marine Marauder composition. Even getting Hydras. So, at this point, I don't really like this choice of going for Hydras. So, when you get Lair Tech, it's usually an either-or thing. You want to go either Hydras or mutas. Not really both. I guess this is more of a tech switch at this point, because your mutas aren't really doing too much. But you have been doing some, wow, economic harassment. Let's take a look at the worker count. Very nice job. 32 to 19. Even getting up this base. And again, you want to get these gases up as well. Gas, very, very important. And you have this army out here, again, being a little bit more proactive with these units, making sure that he just can't set up this base, making sure that all of his units are going to be harassed when they try and move out. You do have a bigger army right now, and the composition is quite a bit better, although some banelings would be nice in this army. I mean, you already have the nest up, otherwise I wouldn't be suggesting it. Ooh, getting this energy pretty high. This one as well. There we go. Getting up those injections. So yeah, don't feel scared to take these gases before this hatchery is actually completed. This is an extremely safe expansion that you're taking, so you don't really need to worry about the gases being vulnerable at that point. Got a few minutes left. They're probably not going to be too useful. Might get another SCV or 2. Looks like you're getting up more creep tumors. Okay. Sure, you want to connect this natural and your main. You don't really need to connect these two. Another overlord here planting creep would be fine. Getting burrow again. Can you? Oh, let's check out that roach warren. Oh, looks like you do have that move while burrowed upgrade. The tunneling claws. That's what they're called. But right now, you're just sitting at your base, not really doing anything. You are at an economic advantage. You do have 3 bases up compared to, well, it's like a little bit more than 1. He's barely mining gas. Doesn't have a whole bunch of minerals. I think you're focusing a lot too much on these mutas when you have this massive ground army. So you could be using this army creeping forward, making sure that you establish map control. You could be moving out against this force, and you do have a better army, I think. It's a little hard to tell. You did let him macro up a lot of these units. You want to be engaging with everything. If you don't have enough there, you want to back off. So yeah, now everything gonna move in, but it's a little late. You lost a lot of your hydras there. And gonna morph some banelings in the middle of this. Probably not the best time, but looks like you will get away with it. So there we go. Your army is quite a bit better off. More importantly, you held that off, and you have another base going, which means you should be able to push in once your next round of units come out, which you should be doing, really. You should be... Oh, by the way, your rally point's pretty awkward. You don't really care how many units are at this ramp. As long as you have a few, like, you could have 2 roaches up here and you'd be fine. Yeah, now you're going to move out. Good idea. And you should be able to just wipe them out at this point. Or, if not here, then just set up your rallies more towards his base, either put it with one of these roaches or hydras, or just rally over here. Make sure the reinforcements actually get there. That burrow a little unnecessary. There we go. This is good. You know that you forced him to bring SCVs off the line, which your hydras will absolutely demolish, and then this should be the game right here. Alright, so I'm just going to assume that you won after this point. I actually didn't watch this replay beforehand, but the important things I want to go over again. So, getting up this natural, okay, getting up that gas as soon as possible, that's a big one. Going for this tech switch worked out for you. It's, well, I think you could have done a lot of damage with those mutas, but going for that switch is a fine idea if you think you can pull it off. It did work out for you because you had that roach support up, because you got this baneling nest up. You were able to better defend that last push from your opponent. Creeping out is a good idea. It'll never hurt you unless you're playing against another Zerg. Your rally points are a little bit botched. They should be a little bit more forward over here. If you can prevent him from even getting to the ramp, it's always a better choice, because even if you have a whole bunch of units up here, it leaves your natural very exposed. Your saturation is not the greatest. Okay, this one's actually saturated incredibly well, but you're barely mining minerals over here. It's not too big of a deal because, again, the gas is the more important part, but you are doing okay right now, and you don't need to be running away from SCVs unless they have like quadruple the amount of SCVs that you have hydras, and then it's still iffy. Okay, so I think those are the most of the important things. Yeah, using these idle units to, again, take down the rocks when they were here, doing that a little bit earlier would have been nice. Moving out, making sure that he could not expand over here, making sure that he had to stay on this ramp, maybe even force him to go for a more mech-heavy, or get some tanks up so we could establish a position here. I mean, that's a couple hundred resources wasted, maybe even 1,000. And that just firmly establishes your economic lead. This burrow, again, very unnecessary. You used it like twice, and it just seemed kind of useless both times, in my opinion. If you really like it, I guess you can try and think up your own strategies for making use of that, but not the most important. You didn't get link speed this time, but you didn't have a lot of links. So, that's the most important thing I noticed in this game. I do think that you did a better job in this game. So what you did right, I want to talk about that. You saved up a whole bunch of larvae, and more importantly, you had a lot of gas in the bank, a lot of money in the bank for when the spire popped. You got out, what, 7, 10 mutas? I don't remember. But it was a lot more than 3 or 4, or I think you had 4 or 5 last game. So that's a definite improvement. You always want to do that, unless you're going for that, okay, you always want to do that when you're going for mutas. And in general, you want to get out more lings at the beginning. But that was well done. Taking this expansion quite a bit earlier at around 30 supply, I think. Much better. Last game you took it at 40 supply. So that's significantly later. And getting these gases saturated. Very nice job there. You got up both of these gases. You got up one of them pretty quickly, but the other one took a little bit longer. But it did work out for you, so that's not too big of a deal. Alright, I think that's it for this game, so I will go on to the next one.